Welcome back to another episode of Put It on the List. I'm Francisco. Today with me, someone who doesn't think his powers are a gift, but a curse. Andres. We have a fun show this week. Some industry gossip. We have Fantasy Corner, Trailer Roundup, and we list some things we watched. Also, we give you our double feature for the week. Let's start the show. What's up, Andres? What's up, my buddy?
Going? Are you surviving the heat this week,
I'm good,
Mr.
man.
Heatwave?
I hooked up the freaking AC, and it's been cranking all week.
That's the same thing here.
And it's raining right now. It's humid. So.
Yeah, you guys got the hurricane situation going. Whatever that's all about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You'll
hurricanes
see.
are great because you get to stay
It's all
inside
good.
and watch a lot of content.
Yeah. It drives the little one crazy, though.
I bet.
I got a lot of energy.
Let's go.
I got a lot of energy. She literally says that, and she looks at me like, Dad, I have a lot of energy.
It's go time.
I'm like, all right, let's go fucking work it out. Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
clean your room. Not that kind of energy.
All right. No. My leg hurts. What? Your leg? What does your fucking leg hurt? She starts dragging her leg like she was just like in Braveheart or some shit. It's fucking crazy.
It's numb.
Anyways. Yeah. Dude, if one day she's like, hey, I love the smell of napalm in the mornings, I'm like, what the fuck? From
you gotta start. She's gotta stop watching those movies with you.
Dude, here's a little pair corner. I was brushing her hair, right, putting it in putting it in a ponytail, and she's like, Dad, I know what I want to be for Halloween. And I'm like, what's that? I want to be evil ladybug. And I'm like, oh shit. Because there's a cartoon where there's a superhero and she's a ladybug. And she was the regular ladybug last year. This year she wants to be a evil ladybug. And I'm like, okay, why do you want to be evil ladybug? And she's like, oh, I just want to scare people. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll see. And then she's like, Dad, can I get a fake knife? And I'm like, what? What?
I was about to say, what does the evil ladybug do? Does she just go around shanking people, looking like a regular ladybug, but she'll stab you in your leg? Holy shit!
And I'm like, what do you want a fake knife for? She's like, I just want to stab my plushies. She was walking around with her plushies and making like the stabbing motion and shit. Dude, I was like, oh shit. And dude, I gotta sleep with one eye open.
And you were worried about napalm, but now you gotta worried about fake knives and real knives. Oh man.
Yeah. I don't want her to grab a knife and be like, this is a toy? I'm like, no.
Ooh.
And she's always in the kitchen with me, like trying to like, Dad, can I cut that? Can I cut that? I'm like, no, you can't. Like, it's a big old chef knife, you know what I'm saying? And it's like 12 inches long, and it's like
bigger than her torso.
Yeah. I'm like, no, it's not safe, see? But anyways.
All right, let's
Parent Corner.
Let's get into it.
Let's hit up news and tidbits.
On that note,
let's get into it. All right. All right. You put this on the document, man. And I don't know if you want to walk me through it.
Sure. All right. So last week we talked about the new Lord of the Rings show, Power of the Rings. And everyone's got their opinions. Cool. Some people maybe shouldn't be having so many opinions that aren't qualified, such as Elon Musk came out against the new Power of the Ring show because, I'm not going to read it, but essentially it's too many strong women characters and all the main characters are weak, and that's a terrible show. And like everyone should be ashamed. Something like that. I'm like, bro.
Wow.
Okay, what are your thoughts on that?
Wow. That guy's out of pocket.
Yeah, that dude.
Well, just hearing that, I'm like, what What is he thinking about?
Not just that, but like, did he watch the show? Because he's like off the rails wrong here.
Yeah.
Number one, like some dude saved some other women in
Yeah.
the show. Like, whoa, and then on top of that, like you got like 9 kids from like 4 or 5 different women. Like, are you in a good place to be talking about like strong role models and you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying
And like the only strong female I can think of is Galadriel. Like I can't think of like what is he talking about? All these women. I don't get it. It's
I don't know.
confusing.
But yeah, that was a weird thing that was going around.
Yeah.
I'm like,
This is a dumb take.
dude, he's just a troll. He's just a douchebag half the time. That's just like his brand, and he just kind of pokes people just because apparently he's got nothing better to do, like pretend to buy Twitter. But yeah, I thought it was like a douchebag move. But people were talking, so I figured we'd mention it here. So yeah, congratulations on your shitty take.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you think it's just a Elon Musk versus Bezos thing? Because it's Amazon.
Yeah, I know they have a lot of rivals, especially in their space departments, which is like hilarious that there's like 2 billionaire dipshits like lobbing angry tweets over about rocket ships in space. I'm like, rocket ships in space should be like celebrated.
Yeah.
These guys are just like being little babies on Twitter. Like, how far are we gonna? How low are we gonna go? Anyways, moving on from that shit.
Yeah, that's a dumb thing. Moving on, and I don't know if you watched the little trailer I put on here, but Quantum Leap revival. Man, I used to love this show when I was young, dude. With Scott Bakula. Did you ever watch that?
I watched a few. They were fun. It was like a cool. I don't know if it's early 90s. Yeah, it ran for like a long time. Yeah.
Early 90s.
It was a fun premise.
Yeah, I used to love this show.
Tell the viewers about the premise.
Yeah.
Maybe if you might. Fire away.
Yeah. Well, the premise is that there's a scientist and they're working on a top secret, looks like time traveling thing. And there's an accident and this guy gets caught up and the scientist gets caught up with this time travel machine. And he randomly gets sent to different periods in time. And he's there to either fix a problem, solve a problem, or let the problem happen. But he's there as the person in that time period and not as himself. So nobody knows it's this guy from the future. And he gets a little help from a hologram that's from his present time. And it's a pretty cool premise. It sets up a lot of drama and then some funny things and some sad things. So the first show was dynamic, and I like that about it. So I'm looking forward to it. Quantum Leap. If you guys, I think it's you can stream it. I think the first season. I mean the first series, but this is gonna come out. I think on Peacock. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't really watch too much of it, but I mean, it could be really fun.
Yeah.
The premise.
Yeah, I don't recognize any of the
Maybe
actors.
now they'll go back to the 90s. It will be like, oh shit.
I think it does. I think the first or the trailer was like set in the 80s or late 80s. So that's 40 years ago. So
that'll be interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't have Peacock, but we'll go from there. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Moving on.
D3.
We got this weekend. We got D23.
D23.
D3 or D23?
You are correct.
Yeah. D23 coming. It's coming up this weekend. So we haven't heard any of the news, but we wanted to speculate and see what do you think is going to happen this weekend? Any big announcements? What do you want to
Let's
hear?
first explain what D23 is, just in case. It's like a big Disney convention / media event where they bring out like trailers and bring out like actors to announce things. I think they announced Obi-Wan Kenobi show there like 2 years ago or something. So it's going to be like Star Wars, Marvel.
Yeah, a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Speculation. Let's start with the Marvel stuff. That's the thing that I think I know more about.
Okay.
They're saying they might announce the Fantastic Four cast, which could be interesting and fun.
Yeah.
There is an article.
Yeah.
I think I sent you. I don't know if you saw it. That there is a rumor that Marvel signed a bunch of new actors, and
Yeah.
some of them include Henry Cavill, Jodie
Mhm.
Comer, who's from Killing Eve,
Yeah.
who's great. John Krasinski, they've already used him, so they might squeeze him in there. Giancarlo
Yeah.
Esposito, that could be cool.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm like, what? Denzel Washington? Now, a lot of this stuff has been
Yeah.
kind of shot down in rumors, but let's just play with it. I have no idea. We'll find out probably in the next day or two
Yeah.
what they end up announcing. But
Yeah.
what are
Sounds
your
good.
thoughts on those guys, and who do you,
All right.
any predictions on who they might play?
I think because the Fantastic Four thing is kind of a given, I think that they have to announce who's gonna like the villain's gonna be. It's got to be Doctor Doom,
It's got
right?
to be.
So I think that I think Henry Cavill might
Dude,
play Doctor
that's
Doom.
my number one pick right there, Henry Cavill,
That's what I
Doctor
would have
Doom,
my money on.
and I think he'd be a perfect Doctor Doom.
That's
I I
yeah,
so hope that happens. Uh,
yeah. Just think about like thinking about his um history or his
yeah,
mythology. I'm like, man, he would be like the perfect guy. That's like
yeah,
handsome, and then maybe they deform his face a little bit, and it's like, oh yeah, now he's like this tortured Phantom of the
yeah.
Opera soul type guy, and it's like he's gonna make everything even, and it's pretty cool. So hopefully, that's it.
I hope so. That well,
I'm also interested to see if they're gonna have some X-Men news. Something, man. Give me one X-Men. X-Man. I don't care, man. Just one.
all right. I'll give you one.
Still stuck on that.
Who? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if they announce anything. They have to start shoehorning them in there. They use the word mutant in one of the shows that we shall go
Yeah.
unnamed right now. So I'm like, okay, they're
Yeah.
slowly moving into that territory. Um, I
Yeah. You know what's head scratching is that Giancarlo Esposito and Denzel Washington. I'm trying to like put them into something and I
me
can't figure
either.
it out. Any thoughts on those two
People were
guys?
saying John Carlo as Professor X. Maybe, maybe I
Hmm.
can kind of see that. It's still so hard to disassociate it without Patrick Stewart because I mean, homie's still there doing his thing. So I don't know.
Yeah. They just gotta say alternate universe or
Yeah, I think
whatever.
Giancarlo Esposito's a great. I mean, he's a powerful actor, and they had him in The Boys, and he was pretty chill in that. So like, he's got to play a different character from his character in The
Yeah.
Boys. I don't know. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
let him. And you don't even know what their plan is.
I think he was underused in The
Oh,
Boys.
absolutely. And then he kind of just went away for a little while.
Yeah.
But well, I don't know. Very. We'll find out in the next day or two. We'll probably talk about it next week on the podcast. But yeah, so
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna be getting a lot of alerts on our
I think
phones over the
I think they're
weekend.
gonna do some Star Wars stuff, which I'm not dialed into right now. So we'll see about that shit. They announced someone who's joining the Ahsoka cast. That's currently shooting. So I don't. I
Hmm.
didn't watch the show, so I'm not really familiar with. I mean, I didn't watch the cartoon. It's like some cartoon characters from the animated shows are getting
Yeah.
cast.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out.
Hmm.
Hopefully it'll be cool. All right. Moving on. What we watched. Let's get into it. We watched a lot.
Yeah, we were productive this week. Sitting down and be
Yeah.
productive. I watched this movie on Amazon Prime it's called 13 Lives, starring Viggo Mortensen and Colin Farrell and Joel Edgerton, um, and a bunch of actors from Thailand. It's about the little kids soccer team that got stuck in a cave in 2018 and how they rescue them. I really didn't know much about this story. Just know that I knew that it happened. I didn't know the details. Did you watch this movie? Have
I
you
have
watched
not.
it?
I watched the documentary about it. I think it's
Oh
on
yeah.
Disney. I forgot what it's called now that I think about it, but
Hmm.
it's really good. Uh it's nuts. And I'm
Yeah.
really curious to see what Ron Howard does with it. And I'll tell you right now, I don't like small enclosed spaces like that, especially underwater in the dark. I'm like, that's not my thing. But Ron
Yeah.
Howard's a good storyteller, man, and
Yeah.
fantastic cast. Well, how did you like it?
It's funny because um my first note on my little note thing right here is stressful. Man, I was stressed out, bro. I was like kind of like in the edge of my seat, because of the things you
Yeah.
just said, like small spaces, dark, and the whole time you're underwater, and I'm like, damn, I don't know. Like, and then you're in a cave, so there's like sharp spikes, that
Mm-hmm.
can mess your gear up and all kinds of things that can go wrong. And I enjoyed it, man. At the end, I was like so relieved, and I was like, I could take a deep breath. I'm like, and I had that moment. I don't know. I can't. The thing I can compare it to is like, do you remember that movie Captain
Oh
Phillips
yeah.
with Tom Hanks? That at the end when they rescue him and they're taking his measurements or whatever, his heart rate and all that, and he was like nervous, crying, kind of like sad,
Like
happy.
reality
He,
finally set
he all
in.
these
Yeah.
emotions were going over his butt. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's how this movie is, bro. It's like, damn, at the end you're like, whoo, it's crazy. He did a really good job. It's it went straight to Amazon. I'm like, it's crazy. I think it would have been a good movie to
I
watch in the
think they just
theaters
bought it.
because it
I think it
wasn't
wasn't intended for Amazon, but then Amazon like, oh, we'll take it, and that was it.
yeah.
Someone made their money immediately and just moved on. But yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, and like you said, Ron Howard is good. Yeah, he's usually hit and miss for me. Sometimes it's like his movies are like he plays the
Mm-hmm.
emotional role too much sometimes. But this was right on point, and all the acting was great, and even the extras, or they had a ton of people that were also half of it subtitled, so sometimes people have a hard time for it,
Sure.
So they use real people, I think.
Yeah.
So, but I enjoyed it. I recommend it. 13 Lives,
Yeah, I remember
Amazon
when it
Prime.
happened. There was like hundreds of people who took an effort of like hundreds of people just to keep them from drowning. People should watch it. Like logistically, it's like whoa. And watching a country, not just a country, but
They said it was 5,000
oh
people
my
there.
god, yeah. And if you seen the footage, like the real footage is insane. And then you see like they're bringing in people from like England and Australia, like the world's best cave divers, to try to get in there. I'm like, dude, and bring that. I didn't know about the Thai Navy SEALs. Thailand has their own Navy SEAls, and they brought them in to try to. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah,
So that shit
yeah,
that
yeah,
escalated quick. But yeah,
yeah. And the kids were in there for a long
long time.
time. They were in there for a long time. I was like, wow. But anyways, total recommendation. I mean, you should
All
watch it,
right,
bro. I think you
all
would
right,
enjoy it.
cool.
I mean, you already seen the
Yeah,
documentary,
I'm good.
so
Yeah, but
this is gonna be more
I want to see
dramatized, but
how they.
it's good. It's a
Yeah,
good show.
I like Ron Howard, so that's cool. All right, what's up? What we got next?
Power of the Rings, episode 3. It just came out last night at nine
Did it?
o'clock. Somebody tried to blow me up yesterday, talking about you guys were like crackheads last night. I got messages on my phone like you're fucking up our evening. I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, Jay. All I hear is somebody's voice in the background. He fucked us. He fucked us. I was like, what? It's 9 o'clock yet. It was like 8:50. I'm like, fucking relax.
All right, for the records,
You guys are
some of
crazy,
us
dude.
didn't know it came out at 9. I thought it was just like all day, it starts at midnight the day of. Not midnight New York time. So we were super confused. I'm like, where the fuck is it? So that like totally screwed us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sent you some angry messages like you lying sack of shit because you're all like, yeah, gonna watch Lord of the Rings tonight. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
there too. And then we turn on Prime. We're like, where the fuck is it? What the fuck? And then I had to, and then like
Yeah.
we sent you some choice
Yeah.
words, and then I googled it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And then I got some choice messages back from someone. You know, my favorite part was we didn't even finish watching the episode.
What?
We only watched like
You didn't finish it? It was long
dude,
as
yeah.
fuck.
We had to get up like at 6 something this morning, so I was like, oh. But we watched like 40
Oh,
minutes though.
okay.
But we didn't even talk about episode 2 last week.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that real quick. I'll get into it. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You didn't. Yeah.
episode
Yeah. Go
episode
for it.
1 ended on like on a whoa, and episode 2 goes into some shit. and it just gets bigger and bigger, and you meet more and more people, and like, the mythology gets bigger, and it's like every episode, they're not like building a set and getting some money and like there you go, film the thing. No, no, no. It's like every episode they're like, here we're unlocking this new bank vault of money, so you can go buy all these new pieces of equipment and wardrobes and sets. And then episode 3, they
Yeah.
opened a bigger money vault so they could like film more scenes and more scenes, which is all new characters and all new. I'm like, what the? How much money do these guys have? Like
Yeah.
the scope and scale of like,
Endless
dude,
amount of
we're only
money.
3 episodes in, and they have like, I'm a little concerned they need to pace themselves, and like, holy crap, and man,
Yeah.
but go ahead, without spoiling episode 3, thoughts.
Yeah, well, it's funny. You watched 40 minutes, and it was like episode 3. I kind of count as like 2 separate
Okay.
episodes, and you guys kind of stop right in the
Yeah,
middle
yeah,
of
right
it.
when it
So,
started to like we switched
so,
over, we were like, let's just call it now because we're just gonna keep going for another 30 minutes. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. So you guys did a good job there. So I can talk about that, and I gotta say I mean, it was cool seeing that place. It reminded me of the Citadel City and Return of
totally.
the King. What was that called? Remember? It reminded
King's
me of that
Landing.
city, but it's an island. No, that's fucking dork. Yeah, right. That's Game of Thrones,
Yeah, I know.
asshole.
Min,
King's Landing, the Red Keep.
Minas
No, just
Tirith or
kidding.
something. Think so.
Ministeria? Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Something like that.
the
But
scale of it was
anyways,
huge,
but this is an
huge.
island, and yeah, it was huge. And I like the little, or like, oh, I know who that's gonna be. Kind of,
Yeah,
when you hear
yeah.
somebody's name, you're like, oh, that's the guy. So
You're gonna have to fill me in
um,
on that one later.
so that was cool. But
I thought I heard someone's name, and I was like, wait
oh,
a minute.
really? You
I
didn't
was like, wait
catch
a
it?
minute, wait a second. So yeah, I figure I'll talk to you about it later offline, so we don't ruin anything. But man, that show,
Yeah,
that show's
of
going
course.
deep.
Yeah. It was a lot of talking, like the first 40 minutes, and it was a little slow for me, because it had like episode 2, dude. Like episode 1 was good. Episode 2, man, and it had humor, and it was like really well rounded and stuff. So I really enjoyed episode 1 and 2. Episode 3 is a little bit uh, off balance, I think.
You know what's funny?
So,
I
but
didn't
yeah,
mind the
that's
talking so much because it was, number one, it's pretty fast. Like they would just go from scene to scene to scene to scene talking, but they're establishing stuff, and they're moving
mhm,
through different environments and different sets,
yeah,
different characters. Um, so it just kind of kept moving. So it
yeah,
kept me in, even though it wasn't like stabby stabby. It was it's still pretty fun. And then like there was
yeah,
like one fight scene, I was like, damn. And so I was like, holy sh! They
yeah,
did some reveals, and then past that, I was super in still. I was just enjoying the scenery because it was so well. It was just gorgeous. So
yeah. It
I
was a
was
good
good.
show. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you guys almost made it through all that shit talking for that, huh?
Almost.
You fuckers didn't
I
even
know.
finish that shit. He
Oh,
fucked
I was gonna.
us. Hey, somebody needs to bring it in a little bit. Wow.
Well, just be nice in the
Wow.
future. We'll be all right. All right, moving on. We got to move on to the next thing.
All right. Next thing, did you watch episode 3 of Game of Thrones? House of the
Uh,
Dragon.
House of the Dragon. For you. Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I have some thoughts. It started strong,
Go for it.
and then
Yeah.
like that opening scene was like, all right. Ooh, shit. Oh, damn. And then
Mm-hmm.
it hit like a wall for like 40 minutes. I was like, oh my God. Like, are they seriously going to talk about one thing for like 40 minutes? Like, you want to talk about talkie? This was like sit in a room and talkie forever. Like, it might have been one of the slowest Game of Thrones type episodes I've seen and I thought they were just fucking with us. I'm like, is this a joke? They're seriously going to talk about this one thing? And like, hey, let's go talk about this thing in this corner. Hey, let's go talk about the same thing in this other corner. And I understood it, but it was just so repetitive. And then finally, I'm like, is this how they're gonna end it? And then all of a sudden, they kind of cut to another sequence, and I don't want to ruin it, but then they turn that shit to like basically 11. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. But
Mhm.
that's just my opinion. Where were you at?
Yeah. I think you're kind of being a hater, bro. You carry a lot of baggage
Oh my
around.
god.
You're
Oh
one
my
of
god.
these. You're one of these. Hold on. You're these guys that still butthurt from the last season of Game of Thrones, and you're carrying that shit around like it's a bloody diaper. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, go change that. Come back, and you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? It's a different show, man. Just don't carry that around with you. It's funny that you can give the elves, the shiny elves with all the money over there, a lot of
Give a
love, but this one
pass.
over here, yeah, you have a lot of hate in your heart. Go take care of that,
Is that what
and
it
then come
is?
back. That's what it is. This show has basically been about that one thing that you're talking about who the heir is
Yeah.
gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what it's been about. But it's not just this episode; it's the whole season. It's been like that. I think the previous episode, episode 2, was a little bit more talky than this one. I kind of like that. Viserys, he's a piece of shit. All right, he clouds his whatever he's going through, and then like he wants to be a martyr. He's like, oh, you don't understand how hard it is. I'm like, bro, you like in episode 1, you made a bad decision. You made a bad choice. You know what I'm saying? Like you were so happy that you might have a male heir that you sacrifice your wife. You know what I'm saying? Like that's fucked up. And then like you don't have the thing about this show is that you don't have anybody to root for yet, and you don't know who to root
No,
for. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
true.
And but other than that, it's just been about who the heir is gonna be. But I think they're doing a good job. It's keeping me intrigued and is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But you've been a little harsh. You've been a little sensitive.
Maybe just slightly. The one thing I'll give it some credit for, which I don't think they did in the original show, is they do the time jumps. They did another time jump in this episode, which they established in the beginning. I'm like, oh, okay. I think that's kind of cool because it adds to like not the drama, but like the story. It pushes it forward in big
Yeah,
chunks. So which I thought was like, and it introduces like a new dynamic of that whole who's gonna be the ruler at some point,
yeah,
and that was cool. So I liked that they
yeah,
weren't like fucking spinning forever a whole season instead of on an episode of just jump forward. That was cool.
yeah.
Um,
I got one more thing. That's funny
yeah,
because they were talking about, Viserys, the king, is kind of fed up with everybody throwing in their 2 fucking cents in about
yeah,
who
yeah,
should be
yeah.
the heir or whatever. And the funny it's little spoiler, but it was like the most ridiculous fucking thing when the hand of the king, Lord Hightower, he
Mm-hmm.
leans in and he looks around. You know who should be who Rhaenyra should marry. And he looks around and he's like, the baby.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Fucking ridiculous is that, bro? And even Viserys is like, looks at him like, what the fuck? Like, and then he looks at the baby and then he looks at him and he's like, are you fucking kidding? He's 2 years old. This show is wild. They give zero fucks about incest. Let me tell you that.
No,
Incest?
no, I think it's
Incest?
yeah.
Whatever, dude.
I think it's established
It's fucking
in
wild.
that line. I think you have to have it because eventually the dude turns into the Mad King, and I think he goes mad because partially he comes from incest.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what they talk about, but I don't know. But yeah.
It's
Yeah, the
fucking
rule like
crazy.
yeah, the gloves are off with these guys. I'm like, all right.
I
So
was laughing so hard, bro, when like I was like, "What the fuck?" when he said it, and then seeing Viserys' reaction, that shit made me laugh. Like what? Because he was
I don't
drunk,
think
anyways. You know,
I don't think he was serious. Was he serious? Because a couple scenes later, he's talking to his daughter again
Hightower was
about.
serious.
But then Hightower wants his grandson to be the new king.
Yeah, if he marries, that's the baby is the grandson. So
Oh, what
if
am I
he marries
talking about?
Rhaenyra,
Yeah. I don't know. It's all confusing. I understand completely. There's no more conflict of anything. It just solves everyone's problem.
No. Yeah, he's like either way, he gets his way.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
he
that's what I mean.
he seems like he's doing a favor to the king, like, oh, I'll give you good advice, but actually, he's like he's being a fucking bitch, and be like, oh, it's my grandson, you
Yeah.
know.
That makes perfect
So
sense. All right. Yeah. Creepy.
that shit's wild. Every episode, there's been some incest shit going on. Every
That's what
single
they do,
fucking
those
episode.
guys.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it's
But
fucking crazy.
but that final 10 minutes was like it was all worth it. I was like, this is pretty badass. I didn't see that
What'd
coming.
you think? Was
So
that foul or fair or foul? Waving the white flag and tricking motherfuckers.
well, you could argue that all's fair in war. So
It's
I don't
war,
really know.
right?
I mean, at the end of the day, everyone that got tricked is dead. So who are they gonna tell? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So dead men tell no tales, and they're all pretty dead as shit.
yeah.
I don't. I mean, and this is not like a good honorable guy. This is a pretty crappy
No,
dude.
no.
So we're like, all right.
You know what? I don't know that actor, Matt Smith. Do you know him from something?
He apparently he was on Doctor Who for a long time. He
Oh,
was.
yeah, yeah.
I think he's really popular from that. I didn't see it, and then he was on The Crown for a long time.
Oh, okay.
I also didn't see it,
No,
and let's see.
I know these shows. I just haven't watched them.
I see his name all the time, but I don't really know him very much.
I like the way he's playing the character. I think
Yeah.
like if he wasn't such a dipshit, I think he would be my favorite one. You know what I'm saying? But he's kind of a dipshit.
Dude, they're all dipshits. I guess that's why I watch the show to see what kind of happens.
Yeah. All right. Any
All
other
right,
thoughts on this, or when you're ready to move on?
No, I'm gonna stick through the whole season. They already ordered another season, so
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
I mean, as long as they keep up a good pacing, there's at least some battles every at least couple episodes. I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so much shit that needs to play out. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But all right, moving on. Last week we touched the topic of we watched the Untold series on Netflix, and we watched another one this week, and this week is Malice in the Palace, the mini riot or fight brawl that broke out. It was the Pistons versus the Pacers in the Palace of Auburn Hills. What'd you think, man?
All right. I should get some real quick context. I'm gonna do it much quicker than the show. I'm not a basketball guy, so I did not even know about this event whatsoever. So this is all like, whoa, this is a new thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like a 90-minute documentary.
Yeah.
And the first 30 minutes, was a struggle for me. It was like just setup of who's who and how this season was going before this season, and this person's this position, this other position.
Yeah.
It was like 30 minutes of like logistics and history of like,
Yeah.
can I just see some people throw some punches? I came in for the punches and the aftermath. So I think I might I zoned out for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because I had it playing as I was working.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it's a documentary. I could follow, no problem. I couldn't follow like half of that shit. I'm like, what the fuck are these, like Latin? But I'm like, get to the punches.
Yeah.
Get to the punches. So finally, when that ramped up, I was in.
Yeah.
And I loved how there was like 19 angles from like everything.
Yeah.
And I super dug how it went into like the, like, how do I call it? Like the play by play from every angle of like everything that happened. Like this happened over here at this field time. Then in this other quarter, this other thing was happening.
Yeah.
And from this other angle, this other thing was happening.
Yeah.
And it kind of followed it all through. And then it went into like the aftermath. I thought the aftermath was the most fascinating when they were really getting into it. I was like, dude, they make some great points. And like how they bring in some federal judges to make some calls on like the suspensions that the NBA gave out, and how like, it was pretty fucked up. And there's a whole bunch of like just a lot of stuff they're going into. And at the beginning of the show, they introduced a character or one of the basketball players, someone named Meta World Peace.
Ron Artest, yeah.
I had never heard that name before. So
no, not even when he played in LA. I think you were living in LA.
Dude, we've been to one basketball game ever, and that's not when I lived in LA. It was with you. I didn't
Yeah.
know what was going on, but it was fun. But yeah, I am such an outsider to basketball, so I was just trying to like understand the
Yeah.
context of it. And when they interviewed it, I'll be done in a second, so I am just fucking yapping.
No, go for
They
it.
interviewed the one dude who actually ran onto the court to throw punches.
Oh, yeah.
Was it at Ron Artest?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, why is this 4.5 foot Mexican running onto the court, throwing his hands up, trying to box this 7 foot tall basketball player?
Yeah.
Like, does he not know that he's like surrounded by people and cameras,
Yeah.
and this shit is gonna live forever, and that he's gonna be forever known as like the fucking idiot, who
Yeah.
tried to box some dude, some drunken ass. Like, what are you doing, homie?
Yeah.
And then they interviewed his dumbass later for the show. He's like, okay, I'll come on your show. I'm like, really? You're gonna? Okay, please come.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell us your side, fucking drunk ass dumb fuck.
Yeah, yeah. And the way it seems like they made it, he sounded like, yeah, Ron Artest was wrong. I'm like, bro, you came onto the court. Bro, it was wild. But
Dude, it's wild.
I think I understand what you're saying, that because you don't follow basketball, but the picture that we're trying to paint with the first half of the documentary
Yeah.
was that this team was poised to be a contender, a championship contender, but this one moment
Okay.
derailed everything. But it was also like a really combustible situation because
Yeah.
because of the
both
players,
teams' rivalries.
the rivalries and the players involved. Because Ron Artest is like a mini Dennis Rodman, bro. He's like, I mean, he changed his fucking name, so he's like a mini Dennis Rodman,
Yeah.
And then the other guy, Steven Jackson, that guy's crazy, bro. That guy just like, he's like, hey, if I'm down for you, I'm down for you. You know, that kind of guy. That guy's from the street. And so one punch swing and that's it. That's all it took. But man, it's so funny. I like how they did the whole thing, like tracking the guy that threw the cup. That was like some logistical bullshit right there. I was like, damn.
And then they brought in the DA who prosecuted, and they said they took apart like all the footage, and they were like, "Who's this? Who's that?
Yeah.
Who's this?" And they were like, they're bringing all these people in and bringing up on charges.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Damn, this shit is like for real." Who's the dude that fucking pulled a chair out of the floor and threw it at someone's head? I'm like, yeah, that guy's gonna have some problems.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like crowd mentality is kicked in, and it went ape shit. Like, I don't even know how I'd handle that shit. Like, that would.
Oh, yeah, and they were like, we were surrounded, They were like, they sounded like they were, I would have been probably like fearful too, like there's
a gladiatorial
people
arena
and
3 cops. And that was it. And they were like,
that were racist. Like they try to grab Reggie Miller from fucking, I'm like, I'm on the team. Because he wasn't wearing a uniform. They were gonna like try to arrest Reggie Miller.
He was with the other. He's as tall as everyone else, wearing a nice suit, and they're like, "Get him!" Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh man,
dude.
But yeah, Malice at the Palace on Netflix, definitely, it's pretty wild, folks. Check it out. I mean, I think you could probably skip most of the beginning if you are not too interested in like the back story. And you'll get plenty of like, whoa, like the aftermath of everything was crazy. So I was like, damn, these fucking guys are nuts. And I'm not going to say alcohol played a part, but it might have played a part with the crowd. 'Cause holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, some people got real brave thinking they could box 7 foot tall dudes.
Yeah. What about the Jermaine O'Neal? He slipped and he still connected. Imagine if he hadn't slipped, he probably would have killed that guy.
The guy talks about he would have died. But yeah, whew, man, crazy. But yeah, it was worth watching. It was like a piece of history that I didn't even know about. And the fallout afterwards, I'm like, this is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right.
But worth watching.
Yeah. Moving on to my favorite segment of the show. Is it your favorite segment? Trailers. We got trailers. We got some cool trailers. All right. First up, Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
Just check that out. You saw me watch it. What'd you think?
Yeah. My Anne Rice history. I watched the original film with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, much younger. I didn't care for it too much. I was kind of like, all right, it's different.
Yeah.
Some cool performances. I think I tried to read one of the Anne Rice books. I don't remember which one, if it's like The Vampire Lestat. wasn't super. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. I wasn't sure what to expect, and so then I saw this trailer, and it also threw me off because it looks like how they shot it. It almost looks like a fucking soap opera CW type show, where it looks a little like it should have more. How do I
Too
call it? It should
digital
have more.
texture.
It's too clean. It's too clean. Like it should have a lot more to it, I think. And it
Yeah,
got a little like, come on, man, pump this up a little bit, make it more moody. These are vampires. They should
yeah,
have like some mood to them. This is like kind of like a little flat and dull.
yeah.
But and then like I'm not familiar with the books. Maybe it's more it's closer to the books. So I'm not gonna watch it. I'll say that right now. I'm not into it. But as someone who actually read the books, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I there's like 20 books, so I only made it to like 7 or something, because then it gets into like some
Dude,
witches or whatever.
7 more than me.
But anyways, I agree with you as far as the way it looks. Like it could have had like more depth, and I felt like it didn't have that. And as far as I can tell, it stuck to some of the stuff in the book, and I just wanted to be scarier than it looked like. Because it looked like just like a melodramatic bullshit. I'm like, I want some fangs. I want some blood. I want some scary shit in there. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like Interview with a Vampire is probably like, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's like it ramps up so much in the other books. So like that's what I would be excited for the future, to see all the crazy shit that does happen.
Hmm.
Like in the Vampire Lestat, you didn't finish it, but that book gets crazy. And then the third and the fourth book, the first 4 books are crazy. So that's what I'm investing in, as far as me
Okay.
watching it. Like hopefully they get to do some stuff from the future books, which were really cool. The cast looked good, you know what I'm saying? Uh it looks like they spent some money, in the production value, the sets and the costumes. And it was a little bit it threw me off a little bit on the time period, I guess, because I thought it was older, like in the book. But
Yeah, it was like it's like Victorian London-ish, and this takes place in like 1920s New Orleans.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully they do a good job. Mm.
All right, here's a question for you. I was watching the trailer, and I don't remember the movie all that well or the books too much. It looked like in the trailer they were saying Louis and Lestat, the two main
Yeah.
characters, were those dudes lovers in the books,
Yeah.
or they just throw that?
Yeah. I mean, they
Huh?
they vampires are, you know, they they
So
they go both
ain't nothing
ways.
on nothing off limits.
Yeah, yeah. I like you, you like me, let's do it. Like that kind of thing. So
Let's do some vampire love.
yeah, so it was fair. Everybody was fair game.
Okay. I didn't.
As,
I don't just didn't remember.
yeah, as far as I can remember, I mean, this is 20 plus years ago that I read these books.
Yeah,
So
because they're really playing that up in the trailer.
yeah. Yeah, well, Lestat thought that Louis was the most beautiful person he'd ever seen. So,
Okay. Well,
um,
see, there you go.
and Lestat's the older one, and Lestat
Yeah,
makes Louis. But
dude,
anyways,
I watched it in the trailer. Ain't none of them were beautiful. I don't think.
yeah, yeah, we'll see.
But whatever.
Well,
But
it's a
whatever.
different step from you go from Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise to, people on a TV show that
Y-
we haven't met yet.
Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to your reports later and your reviews.
Yeah, I'm just gonna send you hissing sounds. Vampire shit. All right, man. Moving
All right.
on.
What's next?
All right. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Knives Out 2.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer,
Yeah.
and
What did you think?
what did I think? It looked fun, man. I think it looked funner than the first one. Like
Okay.
Daniel Craig is doing Daniel Craig things. Uh I guess the one of the reasons I wanted you to watch it is because uh and this is the only thing I'll say about it because I don't want to spoil it for you. But a part
Okay.
of the movie, they're on a fucking boat. They're on a yacht. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, they're on a fucking
Oh.
boat. I'm like, yeah, that's my shit. and it looked like a really nice boat, bro. I was like, damn, is that like 5 stories?
Yeah, they had to film it during COVID, so they're like, "This is film on a boat. Stay away from other
Oh,
people."
see, there you go. You already knew about it. So, so yeah, so I really like that. And I like it look good. And the cast looks like well rounded. I'm like, huh. Like it already looks like Edward Norton's going for it, bro. I don't know if he's going for it too hard. Just his face, like in a couple cuts or scenes, and you're like, man, he's overplaying that shit. But we'll see. Um, you got anything else?
No, I ain't watched. Knives Out was one of my favorite movies of that year. So I'm like, I was so stoked when they announced the sequel and they said it's going to be on Netflix. And I was like, holy shit. So, and then it comes out December 23rd. So I only got to like hang in there for a couple more months and avoid trailers because it's such a fun, unexpected thing. Visually and like performance wise, it's like a big, fun tapestry of all these characters. Like, I don't want to know anything. I'm sorry, I didn't watch the trailer. I'm just going to go straight in blind and just enjoy the shit out of it because I loved the first one. I've watched the first one probably like 4 or 5
Yeah.
times. So I'm super in. As soon as they announced it, I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
yes, done. So yeah, that's my relationship with it. I'm looking forward to reviewing it with you, and we could both review it like the day after.
Yeah.
So
Unless,
everyone could listen to it. Yeah, everyone could listen to put on the list the Christmas special
yeah,
when that comes out.
maybe we'll get a clip of like he fucked us, and then and then and then we go into the review. But yeah, and then like half the shit in the trailer is not gonna make the film. That's like half the trailers.
Probably not. But visually, I don't even want to know. I'm just gonna. It's all just gonna be a nice surprise for my eyes. So I'm in. It's gonna be a feast. It's gonna look awesome. But next trailer, what do we got?
Next trailer, they they aired part of it during a football game last night. So then I went to look at it, and it was on YouTube. Black Adam, the new trailer for Black Adam came out last night. What did you
Yeah,
think?
dude. So I was watching this trailer. I'm like, is this different from the first trailer? It looks the same to me, except for maybe one or two things. Like it's the same tone, the same actiony
Uh,
stuff.
they have a lot of maybe half of the action shots were the same. I would say you're right in that aspect. The tone, I think he talked more in this one. I don't know, and I like
Maybe.
there was some cool little reveals that I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So I like that part. You know what I'm saying? Like the Justice Society
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. And I'm a fan of Dr. Fate, so um I'm kind of looking forward to that. So we'll see. And there
I
was
don't know if
like,
this is like
go ahead.
a full price theater thing. This is definitely I'll watch on HBO opening weekend or whatever.
Yeah, I might go watch
But
it.
we'll see how that goes.
Zenaida was right next to me. She pretends to watch football with me. She humors me. She like, which one's your team? And I'm like, neither one of these, baby. Don't worry about it. But then it's like, oh, is that a new movie? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, do you want to go watch it? There's a lot of explosions. And she's like, I don't know. Maybe too scary for me. She's, she's being honest. But then
I'm
she's
gonna
like,
be
I'll go with you, Dad. Let's go to the movies. And I'm like,
as long as you can buy me a knife
yeah.
afterwards.
But anyways, she likes the explosions.
Cool. But yeah, it looks fun. I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it. But yeah, the trailer didn't
Didn't sway
do
you.
anything new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was cool. What's the last trailer we got?
The last trailer we got is the David O. Russell movie with like every actor ever known to man. Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot
It
of
looks
yeah,
awesome.
it looks good.
It looks all the character. Everyone's getting into like their trippy
Yeah.
characters. It's like a fun mystery-ish kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's like a cartoon,
Yeah.
and it's an awesome cast. I don't know what else to say. It's like a period piece cartoon.
Yeah. It's like a bunch of Daniel
Yeah,
Craigs in there from Knives Out.
yeah, I'm in. I don't know what else to say. This is the second trailer for it,
Yeah.
and it comes out I think in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to too. I'm surprised so many actors are in it. I was just like, damn, they keep actor this, actor,
I'm
this and
not.
that, this and that, this and that. I'm like,
The David O. Russell, the director,
yeah.
he's done like awesome stuff with every actor he's ever worked
Yeah.
with. So I guarantee you the actors are all like clawing to be at do something fun to work with them.
Yeah. I'm ready for some more Christian Bale.
Yeah, me too. He looks trippy.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Moving on. What else we got next?
All right. New to the list. This just popped off like out of nowhere on Netflix. Morbius, the Sony Marvel project.
Yeah. It just showed up on
Yeah.
Netflix a couple days ago. Dude, so I was telling my coworkers, I'm like, the last Wednesday, Thursday at work,
Yeah.
like our network and power outages, like we were just having nothing but problems, like with work stuff, like just blips of like technical stuff, right? And all these technical problems started as soon as Netflix put Morbius on their streaming site. Like, it's cursed, man. Something's going on with that shit.
Yeah.
They need to just get it out of there, get the world back to get straightened again.
Yeah, for sure.
I did watch a little bit of it.
Uh-huh.
I skipped through a couple parts. Visually, it looked pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
The dialogue was not nice. Only like the first 30 minutes, I kind of skipped around just to check it out. I'm like, what's the film that everyone hates? I don't know. It seems decent enough for folks that are in the mood for that type of film, but maybe it falls apart later. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
You gonna watch it?
It's not on the top of the list, but it's on the list. I'll watch it. I mean, it'll be a cool little, something on the TV.
Sure.
We'll see how it goes.
Not at all scary for the little ones. There's some violence and it's some frightening imagery, so maybe the little one should not be around.
Yeah, no, yeah. She goes to the other room. All right, next
What
up.
else we got next?
Next up, we got Chef's Table Pizza. I really like the series
On Netflix.
On Netflix,
Yeah.
the Chef's Table series. So, and I love pizza, so I'm in.
I watched the trailer and I was like, oh. What's really cool is in the trailer, they have, I think it's Nancy Silverton, who's
Yeah.
like one of the, like a really famous baker. She owns, I think, La Brea Bakery, and they have, or she co-owns other restaurants in LA, and we used to eat there and we go sometimes. Like it'd be like a special thing. There's a pizzeria called Pizzeria Moza Pizzeria Moza. That like redefined my relationship with pizza. When I just like it blew my mind. Like it was like this light, flaky, super crispy, super complex dough with like these simple ingredients that all just came together, and I was like, dude, this is like some next level shit. Like it was amazing, like eating this stuff and getting to watch these other guys do their thing. I'm like, hell yeah, I want to see what they got because we make pizza here and we're pretty good at the dough. We have like a 4-day cold fermentation technique. That's a Nancy Silverton clone.
Yeah.
And it works really, really well. And it's like, it's better than 90% of the pizzas I'll have in most restaurants now.
Yeah.
So it's like, it took us a little while to figure it all out and get the techniques, but damn, it's good. So, and to watch other people do their thing, I'm in.
Yeah.
Woo.
I'm excited for it, man. I'm I haven't made my own pizza dough, but I do like buying pizza dough and then making my pizza. I just don't want to like mess up the recipe and be like, they fucked us, so so yeah. But looking forward to the show. Yeah. Yeah.
Knock it off.
Next up we got Thor Love and Thunder on Disney Plus.
Disney Day.
Yeah,
Disney Day or something just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And we got Thor. I remember when Thor was like announced, I looked at the date. I'm like, I did the reverse math. I'm like, in 45 days, we're gonna be able to watch that shit on Disney.
Yeah.
Because I've heard a lot of mixed things, and it's usually mixed, leaning towards negative. But Taika directed it, man.
Yeah.
And it's as long as it's somewhat funny and entertaining,
Yeah.
I'll be happy. But Thor Ragnarok, top 3 Marvel film for me.
Yeah, same.
So how do you follow that up? I don't.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you don't. And also, they filmed this during COVID, so I have a feeling like every scene is on a blue screen, and it's just gonna feel kind of weird. Like the last Spider-Man film felt a little weird. Like every scene took place like in a room. It was kind of like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Fingers crossed. Christian Bale's in it. I really want to see what he does.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna bring it.
I've heard that he was a highlight of the movie.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. That's Thor. I think we might do that tonight, actually.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not sure when we're
Looking
gonna
forward
watch
to
that,
it.
but yeah, I'm looking forward to. I agree with you. Ragnarok is top 3 for Marvel movies. I just hope that like I'm a pretty forgiving viewer. I don't, as long as like I just want to be able to follow the story. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know like the narrative where it's gonna go. So we'll see. We'll see. My expectations have
I know.
lowered since like a lot of the
Yeah.
mixed reviews,
Yeah.
but I definitely want to watch it and see what happens.
I think they're shoving in like 3 comic stories into this one film, which might be too much.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I'm super curious
Yeah.
because all those stories I was a huge fan of. So we'll see how that works out. All right, let's go to everyone's favorite, the double feature.
Double feature. We got
So
a recommendation. We got a rec, our first rec, right?
yeah, we asked for one last week and we got one. So we're going with this one. What
Shout
is
out
it?
to Celestina. What's up, girl? Yeah, it's a movie
Hi,
Dogs. She said dogs.
dogs.
Somebody must like dogs. So a movie
Her
with
dog had
about
surgery
dogs.
this. Wait,
Nah.
Chelsea's dog had surgery this week, so
Uh,
that's why she's like, you know what? Let's do a little shout out to the dogs. I'm like, all right, cool.
okay.
So get better,
Yeah.
little doggy.
Yeah. I don't know the
All right.
dog's name, so I'll be like, hi puppies, so you feel better.
All right.
All right. You go
So
first.
dog themed. It's not a movie starring a dog.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure this out. I figured like a film that had like a really fun dog sequence
Yeah.
or something that was like a featured part of a film. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing I went for, the thing that blew my mind, John Wick 3, Halle Berry's dogs.
Yeah.
Dude, that was like the shit. Like the choreography of those 2 dogs, like
Yeah.
just tearing through like a whole village of bad guys, and
Yeah.
how they were like jumping off people's backs and doing backflips and taking out all these dudes. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the shit? Like, I didn't think it was ever we'd see something like that cool,
Yeah.
that well done on screen, and they pulled it off in John Wick 3. I think they were even wearing bulletproof vests at one point too. It
Oh,
was nuts, that whole sequence. Yeah.
yeah. Were they Rottweilers? Or
It
though
was
they were German Shepherds, right?
yeah, chef. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just cool. And so that was one of my favorite dog sequences, and that's John Wick 3.
Yeah. I'm like sitting,
I
I'm
have one.
leaning back smirking because I'm like, our
Yeah.
brains work kind of like the same and shit. And I had like John Wick written down over here somewhere. But yeah, so my pick was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Brandy at the end just fucking saves the fucking
Oh,
day. And I was like, because I I've watched the movie a couple times now, so I enjoy it every time more.
yeah.
The first time I watched it, I had a weird feeling watching it because I was like, is this just a basic ass movie? Like Quentin Tarantino doesn't really do basic, and I thought it was just
Yeah.
like basic. And then at the end, it just like he switches it up, and it
Yeah,
was
it
a
turns
big,
into like 11.
yeah, at the very end. And but every time I watch it, I enjoy it, the whole thing more. And yeah, man, there's a big payoff at the end, and Brandy does her thing.
Yeah. That was I gotta tell you, man, the end of that film saved it for me because I remember seeing in theater the first 2 hours. We were like, is this a joke? Like I just didn't understand like the most basic thing that we just watched for 2 hours, and like the entire audience, like no one was into it really. You can tell like the energy was just kind of like flat.
Hmm.
And at the very end, they do that, and you're just like, oh shit, we're going into fantasy land now. And then his dog, how he does his little thing where he's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah,
he's like, oh shit.
yeah,
And then it gets awesome. And you're just like, what? Yeah. That whole sequence. Because you think the worst. Because I don't want to say anything, but yeah. He's like, not in a good place, frame of mind,
yeah,
let's just say. And you're like, oh, this guy is so fucked. And then you realize, oh, no, he's fine.
yeah. And like, no wonder he looked like he wasn't sweating it the whole time. He's just sitting there, like, man, they fucked with the wrong people right there. But so yeah, man, that's a great man. That I was worried that the double feature wasn't gonna mesh, but it
Yeah.
kind of they
Damn, it meshed perfectly.
yeah, kind of the same energy kind of shit,
None of us went for like cute and cuddly. We're
no.
just like murderous and more
No,
murderous.
we didn't go for Marley and Me or Fluke or any of that. Yeah, we're staying on brand on this show.
Best dog murder scene. Go.
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. All right. Any final thoughts? That's our show, man. We powered through another
Yeah.
one. That was a good one. Any final thoughts?
Nah, stay cool. Thor, hopefully tonight, and finish the freaking Rings of Power, which is on a roll.
Yeah. 30 minutes left, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lost so long. They spent a lot of money. They spent a lot of money.
They're wealthy over there.
Yeah. They're not hurting.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe, leave comments. Any recommendations or requests or anything like that, please let us know. I'm Francisco.
And I'm Andres.
This has been Put It on the List. Have a great week.